So it finally happened, guys. Ghost of Tsushima 2, or should I say, Ghost of Yotei. At the tail end of a painfully average state of play, no less. They used their one more thing, get out of game dev jail free card wisely. Although I don't think they even said one more thing before dropping the trailer. Let's address the obvious. Jin is not the protagonist. His story is over. I guess it would have been awkward to address that choice at the end of the first game. Spoilers ahead. Leave this sermon now or forever hold your peace. I will be spoiling the swit out of the previous game. To kill or not to kill Lord Shimura, we may never know what happened. Jin's story has a beginning, middle, and end. I mean, it was literally 3 acts, like that play you wrote in high school. Or the play I wrote about a misunderstood god trying to make an honest living in Morrowind. There is a lot of disappointment online about the lack of Mr. Sakai-san, Sama, Sashimi. I really don't understand Japanese honorifics. Forgive this old boomer god. I mean, heroes and villains change from game to game. This series going the anthology route is not too shocking. I mean, look at the Nerevarine and me. Nerevar ditched everyone and took a permanent vacation in Akavir, which is Elder Scrolls Japan, pretty much. Come to think of it, he probably became the Ghost of Akavir I've heard rumblings about. How's that for an Elder Scrolls spin-off Todd the False God Howard? Instead of giving us whatever fetching demented plane of oblivion the mobile abominations, castles, and blades crawled out from, how about giving us a real spin-off noir? Me and the Ash Slaves can help you make it here in Dagoth Ur, the building. Akulakan can run Java, Python, old Flash games, Linux, and it can even play Skyrim at 20 frames per second. I have one non-negotiable with this game, Todd. I must insist that Nerevar is the villain. He always took the last sweet role at the old tribunal parties back in the day, even if he had taken the most beforehand. His role as a villain is justified. All I did was try and enslave Morrowind. Small stuff in comparison. Anyway, while the Nerevarine is out exploring Akavir, I have to suffer here in the Heart Chamber for the rest of my days, until my inevitable cameo in the Elder Scrolls 6, which probably won't happen until 2092 of the next era. Basically what I'm saying is, characters disappear for no reason in franchises, and that is just how it is. It do be like that because it be. Like that, it is what it is. I rest my case. I think I've lost my train of thought here. I must say I was kind of hoping for Ghost of Okinawa. That is my main disappointment with this reveal. I thought the island hopping would continue, but we are going to mainland Japan now, which is fine. Bring on the new hero and location, I say, just don't fetch it up. I will say revisiting Jin's story in a few decades' time could be cool. Although I'm more partial to a spin-off about Kenji the sake merchant, starting up a restaurant in a Cooking Mama-esque game called Ghost of Tsushima, personally. We are Atsu, a new character who is seen chilling in Hokkaido in the trailer. We are going from the island life to the Japanese equivalent of Alaska, I guess. Atsu is seeking underdog vengeance, according to the developers. Fine by me. Although I would have gone with mongrel dog vengeance myself, something I am always seeking in my quest against the Imperials and anyone who doesn't believe in the 6th house or besmirches the good name of the underrated classic knack. But back on point, there is a dog meat-like wolf companion in this game. Throw a few teriyaki-flavored treats near an enemy, and wolf meat, as I will dub this wolf, will rip them apart faster than the residents of Redwater Den down Skooma. There seems to be dual wielding in this game, so you can go all Asajj Ventress on your foes whenever you please. I presume we'll get more stances. Considering the part of Japan we are in, I expect a snow stance where we can snowball fight bandits to death, and maybe turn them into snowmen once we're done. Perhaps there's one enemy left and the only choice they have is an honorable snowball fight to the death. Or well, death by seppuku, or brutal animal attack. Or perhaps we can summon some ice Pokemon to do our bidding, which would be in keeping with the animal summoner of death aesthetic the game is going for. Imagine Glaceon and Abomasnow brutally maiming your opponents, a god can dream. Ghost of Yotei is set in 1603, which is over 300 years after the original game. This is at the dawn of the Edo period, and is set around the time the Shogun TV show is set. Expect a crossover DLC where Atsu has to help Blackthorn with the equivalent of a ye-old travel vlog that she has to write on parchment with painstakingly accurate calligraphy while fighting some ghost demons or some swit, like it's some comical GTA side mission, but it's in a serious game set in feudal Japan. I guess Jin's a literal ghost now. Maybe he can show up as a samurai force ghost and teach Atsu some moves. As in dance moves, not sword fighting moves, obviously. Do we even need more sword fighter characters in gaming after all the Fire Emblem characters we got in Smash Bros? Oh, and he'll give her some tips on writing some sick haikus too. Will the haikus be back, I wonder? I think the plural of haiku is just haiku. It's like Lego or Jedi. Maybe Wolfmeat writes the haiku instead, ruminating on the meaningless of existence in a hot spring and whether or not he is truly a good boy. Or Glaceon could write the haiku. There's probably a lot of angst there that could be transposed into a haiku, as maybe they were an Eve who wanted to be a Jolteon. But their miserable OCD fetcher of a trainer only used ice Pokemon, so that wasn't on the cards. The haiku would go something like, I wanted electricity. Noir trainer coldly refused. I was a normal type. So this backstory makes no sense. Why is the Pokemon franchise a stagnant mess right now? I mean, seriously, we need some innovation. I can't count syllables. Fetching, come on. I really have to stop with the Pokemon crossover idea. Nintendo will give this game the same treatment as Palward and sue the swit out of Sucker Punch. Considering Sucker Punch are carrying Sony right now as they refuse to announce any other first-party stuff, that would be very awkward. I guess Naughty Dog would have to immediately put Uncharted 5. This time it's charted into pre-production if that happened. I assume a lot of the previous open-world activities will return. Bamboo strikes will come back, and I will dislocate my godly fingers once again doing them. I assume we will continue to follow foxes to Inari shrines, except this time we can probably talk to them, Dr. Doolittle style. Character side quest chains must return. Except now that we can talk to animals or something, we won't be just helping humans. Maybe a tanuki named Nom Tuk needs some help with his lemonade stand in the middle of a forest. Your reward for helping him is a crippling mortgage debt, because this is a not-so-subtle Animal Crossing reference. Mythic tales need to make a comeback too. They should get a bit crazy with it. I'm talking fights against yokai, elemental power rewards, etc. I mean, you should be able to become Raiden from Mortal Kombat and be able to bend all elements like the fetching avatar once you reach the endgame. Maybe you can get Hadouken as a reward and spam attack people with it like there's no tomorrow. Don't tell me my fan fiction ideas are stupid or too eerily reminiscent of Fortnite. If a grounded game like Ghost of Tsushima allowed similar things, I don't see why not. Go full Assassin's Creed Odyssey with it. Okay, maybe I'm going a little too far with these ideas. That's pretty much all I have to say about Ghost of Yotei. Ubisoft went out of their way to delay Assassin's Creed Shadows to 2025, the year of Yotei. So it looks like we'll have a direct showdown between the two, because knowing modern Ubisoft, they'll probably release it on the same day as Ghost of Yotei for the hell of it. I expect a pay-per-view samurai duel between Atsu and Yasuke, did I say that right? All in all, it's time to get hyped, but also be prepared for the exhausting conversations around Shadows versus Yotei and the memes that come with it. Time to play a modded playthrough of Ghost of Tsushima from the perspective of Kenji. He is the Fargoth of feudal Japan.